I was texted 2 nights ago by various parents of children that my son went to school with news articles that had McGann's mugshot on them. And I was just absolutely shaken that Kristen and Clinton Brink were brutally murdered, allegedly, by the hands of the man that my son was around every day at his elementary school. While my son wasn't in his class, McGann was not his regular teacher. He was occasionally in his classroom on Fridays, and it was chilling to realize that he was around someone that could do this.
Yeah, and I mean, when we look at the photos, now there's photos of him smiling, on his social media, right? We have seen some pictures of him where he looks a little, friendlier, but what we're seeing here are the mugshots and the DMV picture, and we're seeing him go into jail. These are new images and new video that we're getting. What can you tell us about how McGann first came to teach in your district? Because I know when we get a teacher, we'll get an email and they describe who they are, what their interests are. Did you get that sort of sense from him? Did you get an introduction? How did you get to know this guy?
Yeah, we had nearly half of our elementary school teachers leave our school in May of 2022 for some reason, and we don't know. And so the school had to replace them throughout the summer. And so we were introduced to multiple teachers going into the fall on the school's Facebook page, and there was a post from Andrew McGann on there introducing himself. He was holding a cat. He looked super friendly, very young. In his post, he mentioned that he loves to run, and he was asking for go-to trails to run on, which is just chilling now to think of where these murders occurred. But I saw him at school events, and he looked charismatic. He looked like the kids enjoyed being around him. They flocked to him. He was always hanging out with the fourth graders. It wasn't for a while that we started to see some red flags in things that happened in the classroom.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine that, the younger teacher, the cool guy trying to fit in and get along with these younger children. I mean, it's happened before, and usually everything turns out all right, but now we're in a different situation here. As the school year went on, how would you grade him as a teacher? I mean, was he a good teacher?
Yeah, so again, my son wasn't with him every day.
Right, but on the Fridays.
Having regular interactions with him. He was occasionally in his classroom, and when my son would come home and I would ask him, what did you do today? The general answer is, if he was with Mr. McGann, I was on my iPad. I had free iPad time today to play games, or one day they watched the World Cup. So I didn't feel like my son was getting a whole lot of instruction. And then he started to talk to me about just things that a 10-year-old might say that stuck out to him. Mr. McGann, loves to play tag at recess. He plays truth or dare with the girls. And then I started hearing these things like he's giving out candy. He gives candy out in class, but really it's for the girls. Or he's bringing Sonic drinks sometimes to special girls in the class. And these are the sort of things that started unrolling throughout the year that got our spidey senses up as parents.
Right. I mean, no kidding. I mean, talk about red flags, bringing candy. I mean, this just goes down that checklist of concerns. What did school officials do when those concerns were reported? You and other parents went to the school and said, hey, there's something not right here.
So parents of girls who felt like their daughters were being groomed, who were in his class on a regular basis, went to the district. Some of these parents went to the school and the principal and the district and said, hey, there are inappropriate things happening in the classroom. A daughter sat in his lap in the classroom. A child overheard him speaking to a girl that he wished he could date her when she grew up.
What age?
These girls were 9 and 10.
Oh my gosh.
Things that they were seeing. And so these parents of these girls did go to the district and did go to the school and complained of this. And from what we were told, McGann was placed on an administrative leave. And early May of 2023. And then there was an email announcement sent out that after he had been placed on administrative leave, there was an internal investigation that was done, that no inappropriate actions were found to have taken place, but that his classroom management was below standards for the district and that he had showed some favoritism towards students. But then they noted that he had tendered his resignation to HR. And so what we don't know is, was any disciplinary action ever taken? Yeah. Was he reported to CPS? Was he reported to the state board regarding his teaching certificate? We don't know. It was all internal and it wasn't released.
And how do you find that stuff out now? I mean, I assume that you guys might be circling back to get some answers now that this horrific crime has taken place across state lines. You guys must have so many questions, you know, and also when he was no longer teaching students, parents maybe felt a sense of relief, but then, you know, there needs to be the follow-up, right?
Yeah, I mean, the last thing you want as a parent is for your kid to have anything less than a stellar year due to adults or an adult that they were around in the school. And so I think all of the parents were a bit relieved when we found out he had left and we could finish out the year and have a little bit of normalcy and peace, and not constantly hearing these rumors circulating through the kids about Mr. McGann and things that were going on. I feel like some of these children have still dealt with some of these issues for the past few years, just the trauma that they dealt with, feeling like they were groomed in some way, these girls were. And so it's all come back now. We're having these conversations again that we haven't had in 2.5 years of, oh my goodness, he left us. Where did he go next? You know, we never heard the rest of the story. And now we're hearing the rest of the story. And it's terrifying to learn.
It is. And last question, how is your son holding up after learning the news, and his friends and the other parents? I mean, everybody must be talking in your town.
He's mostly concerned about the children who lost their parents. He's concerned about the girls he went to school with who dealt with and still deal with trauma from this. He wants to know how they're doing, how they're holding up. And he asked me yesterday, how is it that a teacher at my school in my grade turned out to be a murderer? And nobody knew this back then. It's been really unsettling for him.
He's a smart kid asking good questions. Lindsay Polyak, we're so sorry for the trauma that you and your son and family and community are enduring now. This has a huge ripple effect that unfortunately will probably go on for a while, but hopefully we'll get to some answers as we move through this story. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us tonight.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.